chapter 53. For the leader, upon Mahalath, Maskil of David. The fool has said in his heart, There is no God. They have dealt corruptly, and they have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. God looked forth from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any man of understanding that did seek after God. Every one of them is unclean, they are together become impure. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Shall not the workers of iniquity know it, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon God? There are they in great fear, where no fear was. For God has scattered the bones of him that encamps against you. You have put them to shame, because God has rejected them. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When God turns the captivity of his people, let Jacob rejoice, let Israel be glad. All right, let's go back up verse 1. Once again, for the leader. Upon Mahalath. Mahalath is the lyre, a harp, we might call it. Maskil of David. This is going to be, once again, instructed by David. David is the beloved. I call him the chosen one. We're going to pick it up here in verse 2. The fool has said in his heart, There is no God. They have dealt corruptly, they have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. And a fool is somebody who don't have any understanding, in a sense that they reject common sense, saying there is no God, there's nobody going to hold me responsible, there's nothing to hold me accountable, including myself. I don't hold myself accountable for the wickedness. They've dealt corruptly, they've done abominable iniquity. Abominable iniquity is iniquity is a perversion, an abominable iniquity. This word abominable is ta'af, and it means something that's abhorred, something that's detested, something that's nasty and just awful in a sense. This awful perversions, these detestable perversions, and there's none of them that do good, and that's those that say in their heart, There is no God. We'll find out they twist, distort understanding, and they just won't hold themselves accountable. 3. God looks forth from heaven upon the children of men, to see if there were any of understanding that did seek after God. And God looked forth upon all their children, these children of men, those ones that come forth from men. See, the ones that are bringing up the next generation. This is the next generation coming forth. The ones that you're teaching these lies, this deception to see if there was any one of them, maybe that would have some understanding, that would seek after God. 4. But every one of them is unclean. They are together become impure. There is none that does good, no, not one. But every one of them is unclean. They don't know how to sanctify themselves. They don't know how to make themselves clean. They don't know how to wash. And obviously, we're not talking about taking a bath. There is none that does good, no, not one. They are impure, and in an impure state, or a defiled state, the ability to do good is not possible. We'll find out. The living have the ability of deed. Those that are dead do not, and that is in reference to sin. Because when you sin, you have died in a sense. 5. Shall not the workers of iniquity know it, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and call not upon God? Shall not the workers of iniquity know it? Don't they know these things? Don't they understand these things? Don't they comprehend this? these workers of iniquities, these ones that does these perversions, these ones that don't hold themselves accountable. They say nobody's going to hold me accountable, or if they do hold me accountable, I'll sit in jail and this is the end of my accountability. Well, that's one prison. See, there's another prison. The other prison is that understanding you're in, that nobody's going to hold me accountable, because we'll find out the overall life itself is going to hold you accountable. But these who eat up my people as they eat bread, and they don't call upon God, they don't call upon God. Why? They say in their heart there is no God. In their understandings, there is no God. God is the God of understanding. Now, in your understanding, if you say there's no God, that's because you're adverse to His understanding, and you have took up one that's not going to do you no good. These things come from men, men who want to bring others into their perversion, bring others into their ignorance, so to speak. They don't have a God, so they don't want you to have any understanding. God is a hope for all of us. God is not only a hope for one, God is hope for all, that all could come to an understanding where we could live together. And that's really how we got the law in the first place. The just one, from his mercy, give it to the unjust one, that he might live, that there might be mercy, and he might get some understanding. 6. There are they in great fear, where no fear was. For God has scattered the bones of him that encamps against you. You have put them to shame, because God has rejected them. There are they in great fear, and this fear here is in awe. They are going to stand there like with your jaw dropped open. You can't really believe this, but unfortunately we're going to find out it's true. This is a place where there was no fear before. They'll stand in awe, because we'll find out it's within us. It's within us that we suddenly have realization that we have got to pay the piper, so to speak. For God has scattered the bones of him that encamps against you. You have put them to shame, because God has rejected them. And this great fear is on, because why? God has rejected this, and scattered the bones. These bones, that's some we can say that's the bones. It's really as your members. These members that are actually enclosed within. They're bound up. We can say they have been took into a prison, so to speak. Our bones are within us. We don't have an exoskeleton. See, we have a skeleton inside, and it's closed up by the flesh. It's actually those members within are bound up by the flesh, held together by it. And basically, that's what makes up the body of the one, or that has encamped. And we can look at it in that sense. All the members are those ones that they don't have a God. They don't really have the right understanding of God. They think God is a good force somewhere, and the devil is a bad force somewhere, not realizing there's only one force, and it is God. The negative is coming out of the people. The negative flows out of the one who doesn't believe, or say to believe in the positive. See, he doesn't believe in the positive. He only believes in the negative. But we'll find out in the end. God has put them to shame, because he's rejected them, and they're found in their rejection. You see, they're found in the rejection. They're the negative. That's to be found in your rejection. God says, I'm rejecting you because you're polluted. You're not clean. You're not making yourself according to the understandings of God. That's the law. The law is the understanding. That's the knowledge and wisdom it gives you for your own good, to follow that, to keep you from being the negative. In a sense, this is rejected. Not that God has rejected, but He's separated. You're separated out. Why? That's not what God's about. God's about the positive. God's about the goodness. He's not about that. And that's where you cause indifference. You've made yourself indifferent to God's understanding. 7. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come out of Zion. When God turns the captivity of His people, let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. This salvation of Israel, when God saves those that contend with Him, when God saves those that go against His understanding, these ones that have been dispersed, scattered out in all the earth. And when this salvation comes out of Zion, Zion's that parched place. Zion's that place that was judged before. It's that marker that was set so you could remember your judgment from before. And really, this is what it's about, this judgment. When God caused you, when God judged you, and He put you there in the negative place, see, so that you could have some understanding. I'm in the negative. God's done this to me. I need to get back into the positive understanding. And we had that when we was children. Somewhere along the way, something's happened. Somebody's done something. You've took something the wrong way. Something, somehow, somewhere got you there. And the idea is to get you from there back into God's understanding. And that's the turning. See, that is the turning of that captivity, of those that have been taken into that negative knowledge. And in that day, Jacob will rejoice. Jacob will rejoice, and Israel will be glad. Because we'll find out salvation will have come. God's understanding, God's knowledge, His wisdom will have seeped in to the dark places. And there will be light there. We're going to move forward to Psalms 54. Turn and return.